Right, so here we are again, still into this wheel arch. I won't go over what I did last time, but I mean, there it is. You see in the last video. Okay, so turns out now, having taken all the underseal and stuff off the underneath of this arch, that we looked at that. I think in the last video, possibly a quick glance around. Oh yeah, that's the seatbelt mount. That doesn't look too bad. But having a look inside. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to trust their life to that, are they? So, I'm going to end up having to replace that centre strip all the way from the front, all the way over, and that piece as well. Yeah, so I'm just going to, so it retains its shape. I'll do it bit by bit, just working my way across. Okay, right, time for some more cutting. Right, so I'm going to start by just mapping out what I need to do. So we'll go from the edge of this repair that we did before. We'll keep it at the same width as well, I think, because looking underneath, that will catch all of the peppering. There we go. Right, I think that will catch all of the peppering now. Yeah, okay. I think we'll cut this side out first. Go across to where this lip is on this side, lift this frame off, and we'll go to about as far as here, and this back part then will keep this the shape for us, because I don't want to take so much out the whole that starts moving and shifting round, you know. I don't want the back of it going for the wall so much that I can't get it back to the right shape. So the bit I'll just bring you over just to show you the bit we need to actually cut is this is basically a continuation of the piece of metal on the top of the wheel, which comes this way. Let's just zoom out a little bit. So we can actually cut straight through this. We can cut this out, and we just need to make sure that I'm guessing that British Leyland in its wisdom put at least one spot weld into this, but I don't really know. But I think if I cut it right the way through, and that side as well, cut along here, then I'll be able to figure out where the spot welds are in this, and I'll be able to either drill them out or I can cut them out with a grinder or whatever. Get this piece out, get some new metal in, and then figure out what I'm going to do with the seatbelt mounts. I'm going to put 5-point harnesses in this anyway, so it may well be that today I actually weld in the first new piece of harness material. I actually don't know yet. I may just put this back where it was and then just fabricate something when it's all done, because I'm going to need the new seats inside to figure out where the seatbelt mounting points are going to be. Chances are I'm going to leave the seats out, the rear seats out anyway, and put a cross member in from this side to that side, and I'll mount them off that, and then possibly they'll loop over a bar and then onto a mount maybe on the floor, which I'll beef up a little bit. Anyway, I don't know yet, we'll see. But first things first, cut this out, mark it out, cut it out, and then figure out where we go from there. Onwards. Okay, just a quick point. This is the mounting point for the locking tab for the rear seats, and obviously this has actually got to come off this thing, and I need it to go back on exactly the same place. So you could mark it and scribe it and all sorts of stuff. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to drill 2 holes in it, and that will position it then, because you need 2 fixing points to actually fix this in place, or 2 marker points to put it back in the right place. Yeah, so drill 2 holes. When I come to put it back, I'll just line the holes up and fill them with weld, and it'll be right back where it was. Yeah, that was just a quick one, so on we go. Right, so here we are. That's it's an awful lot had to be cut out of there. You can see on the edges, by the way, this I've actually been cutting into really good steel, and that's exactly what you're meant to be doing. If you're not cutting into good steel and you're not going far enough away from the rust, this is what we were left with underneath that wing, that wheel arch. It's just peppered all the way through, you know. And if I find any more along these edges, then I'll cut it even further, because there's absolutely no point in leaving rust in. Absolutely none. You probably saw on that the high speed thing, the time lapse thing. Cut all these spot welds out, and also cut out the spot welds here, because this arch was originally obviously in two pieces, and that would have had a lip which would have met up to this inside, but it was all rusty as a bugger. So what I'm going to do now is just going to clean all this up, and then we'll make a pattern like we did before, and we'll start welding some new steel in. Right, onwards. So now we're back to the stage of making cardboard templates again, and I'm not going to do this in one great big piece. It's just too unwieldy, and this basically is an easy way to do it. So you can see this part of the main structure of the car there comes down with some conveniently drilled holes, which I drilled earlier, which I can now weld through. So I'm going to make a piece which goes across here. I'll probably work up to this point here, and then we'll just bend the edge of it up, curve it, and then weld that piece in, and then we'll just keep working our way back. So back to my CAD program, which is the cardboard aided design. There you go. It did say grape nuts, now it says peanuts. Yeah, whatever. Right, so cardboard template, cut the metal out, start welding in. I'll bring you back in a mo. Right, so there's the first bit of template cut out for that piece. You can see I've written on here, add a 12mm lip to this side where the fold is. So it's just easier to cut it out flat. Obviously you need to cut it out flat when it's on steel, but it's easier to cut it out flat and just remember to add this edge. Right, so we'll do that and then we'll get it fitted up and see how we do. Right, so here we are. The R piece bent there we go. So it's the right size and it's bent, but quite obviously that is flat, and that is curved. Okay, how do we make that fit there? Yes, obviously we're gonna have to curve it round, but the way we do it is this this edge which is bent up. I don't know if you call it return or what, but this part that's bent up here, the vertical part now. We're going to need to stretch that a little bit. Now I haven't got a shrinker stretcher, sadly, but you can still do it with a hammer. So I'm going to do my best to show you how I do it. I mean, professionals would probably do it in a different way, i.e. properly, but I'm going to do my best. But basically what we need to do is, I'll just pop this on the bench so I can put it down right point at the same time. What we're going to need to do is, obviously we're going to bend this so it's arched upwards in this orientation, and this piece here we're going to have to stretch because it actually needs more metal. So think about it, it's going around the curve, so this edge here is going to be longer than the edge on the bend there, so it needs more metal. We can't put more metal in, but we can stretch the metal that's there. So I'll do my best to show you that now. Right, okay, so here we go. That's as far as I've got with this up to now. I couldn't film it because wherever I put the camera on was bouncing all over the place whenever I hit this thing with the hammer. So the idea, what I've been doing is, obviously we've got this gap here. So if you can imagine, if I hit that part of the steel with the hammer right in the middle, it's obviously going to start bending, okay? I'm using this shape of hammer because that's the shape that I want the metal to take on. Alright, and it's just a matter of beating the metal, or planishing the metal, whatever you call it, on this edge, just slowly working the curve into it. As it starts to resist the curve, what you'll find is that this top edge will start to bow, or will start to go out because it can't keep up with the curve here. When that happens, put this onto a flat piece and then hammer down on it. So in that case, you'll be taking your favourite body working hammer. For me, this is this one. It says USMC on it, so I think it's an old US Marine Corps one. I think. I don't really know. There you go. I bought it from the States. But anyway, someone else might tell me that's something different, but you know, whatever. Yeah, so then you'll be hitting down on it this way. Now, every time you hit it, basically what it does, it spreads the steel out. So if it spreads the steel out, it takes up more space, which is what we want, because we want this edge now to be bigger than this lower edge where the return is, where this the bend is here at the bottom. Okay, so we put more of a curve in. As we put more of a curve in, this edge, this top edge needs to be bigger. So we hit down on this edge that way, and it spreads the metal out, gives us a little bit more room to make this curve. And we just keep on going until the thing fits. So that's it. I mean, I'm not a professional. I've just watched other people on YouTube doing it, showing me how to do it. So I'm not saying this is exactly how you do it. I'm just saying this is how I do it. I watch a thing called Treb's blog, or Treb's vlog, I think it's called. And he's a lovely guy, and he's really, really interesting to watch. Very entertaining. Obviously a very nice guy as well, actually. But he's, I mean, if he did this, it would look perfect. But you can pick up all of the hints and tips you need from him. Right, onwards. Let's see if this fits. Okay, let's see. So obviously we want it to butt up to that. Let's see. And you want the curve to be right. I think that's pretty close. I think that's going to be fine. So I'll just trim it now so it fits the hole perfectly, and we'll get it welded in. Now the fitting is now done. There we go. It fits the gap really nicely. I'm going to pop it in and clip it in a second. But you can see that's just had some weld-through primer on it. U-pole, copper weld. It works really well, actually. It makes the weld look a little bit stinky and a tiny bit black, but it works fine. It's okay. You got to put something in there. And I've also put it on the inside of that. Get the door open. I'll put it on the inside of the return as well. You can see all along there. So I'm going to weld the patch in down this seam weld it here. It's going to butt up to this piece. Where are we? This piece here, and then I'm going to weld it through. So plug weld it, and I'll probably put a couple more in knowing me. Those over weld stuff. What it is going to give me the opportunity to do though is use a little tool that I've actually just bought. I got it at the Classic Car Restoration Show at the NEC. And by the way, if you ever get the opportunity to go, it's a no-brainer. Just go. It's brilliant. It's such an inspiration to see what other people are doing to their cars, and you get to chat to people, ask all the experts questions. You know, your favourite engineers from Practical Classics magazine, John Simpson. I know that they're all there. You get to learn a lot as well. Practical Classics also do a small show as well, quite separate from the main stage, where they demonstrate things like lead loading, panel beating. It's just ace, so we went for the full 3 days this year. It was excellent. Anyway, yeah, so I'll get the opportunity to use a little tool that I bought while I was there this year. I've wanted one for a while, and I'll show you in a second anyway once this thing's clipped in. And there we go. Now, these are Cleco pliers. I've never had a set of these before, and I actually didn't know that. I knew they came with these pins, which I'll show you in a second, but they also come with these little edge clamps as well. I didn't know that. Anyway, I got these from the, as I say, the Practical Classics show. It was a stand next to the Practical Classics stage. And what you do, you get a pair of these pliers, and you drill holes, thin holes, through the panel that you want to clamp together. So what I've got here, I'll just use these pliers to get this off. You press it together and it's spring fit, and that just comes out. And you can see the end of this, you know, as you release the pressure, it spreads out and grips the inside of the hole. You press it in, you push it through the hole, release it, and it clamps everything together. So you can see I've got a small hole there. So I'm going to compress that, put that through, there we go, release the pressure, and now we'll now clamp this panel in for me. So I've got one here, one there, and I've also got one on the top just here, which is clamping that edge in. And I don't know if you can see, actually, if I just put that down there, you might just see. Where are we? There we go. You can see where they come through the panel, and then obviously pulling those two edges together, which is really good. Right, so I'll just give this one last tiny little fitting up, and we'll get it welded in. So yeah, Cleco pliers, really, really good. There we go, and they're not expensive either. It's like, well, 25 quid, but it's they'll last forever. They're super solid, and you're going to see me using these an awful lot more in the future. Right, okay, I'll get this camera set up and I'll see if I can actually film some welding. So if during the welding you hear me crying, it means I've blown up my iPhone 10. Right, onwards. Oh, that's not too bad. Once we've given it a quick tickle with a grinder, it'll look like it grew there. Okay, next bit then. Now this time, this is going to be a little bit harder to, well not harder, but slightly more awkward to keep in place, this panel. So I can't use the clecos or the edge fasteners really. I might get one up this end initially, but what I'm going to use basically to keep this in is welding magnets. Just put that there for a second. Here we go. This is it, welding magnets, and they basically just go across the joint between the card and the patch panel. Okay, I'll get it all in place, then I'll bring you back and I'll show you what I've done. In the end, I actually decided on a mixture. So we got 2 Cleco edge fasteners there and welding magnets here. Right, let's get that welded in. God, I hate welding upside down. Right, so you can see where we're up to with this. I'll just give this a little tappy tap tap in a sec just to bring it back up a little bit. But underneath, if I can just find my torch, I welded the centre part from underneath, and you can see. There we are. It's all welded on. I know that looks terrible. Of course it does. It hasn't been ground or anything yet or seam sealed, but it's absolutely solid, that, which is what I want. Right, onwards. Right, so now it's time to deal with this this big bugger. Okay, so I think I may well use heavier steel for this because, or certainly on this part here, I might use the 1.3 because, well, because it's where the seatbelt mount's going to go. Whether I use that seatbelt mount doesn't matter. I mean, if I ever sell this car, someone else might want to reinstate the old style seatbelts. When I put the 5-point harnesses in and the seats are in it, I'll figure out where those mounting points are going to be, and I'll reinforce them anyway. But this one is the one that comes with the car. It should be reinforced. I think it should be, and it's going to be. Right, okay, well, same as before, cornflake packet, CAD design, and cut it out, fit it, and I'll bring you back to see how it's going. Now what I've done here is taken out a little bit more metal just to make the hole a more regular shape, and really just to make it easy to make the patch. And it's obviously back to decent metal all the way around there. So I think I will probably make the patch to go from this side in the 1.3 metal through to this side, probably stop it here along this edge, and then make this patch out of the easier, well not easier, out of the thinner metal, which is the same as this, which is what it should be really, 0.8 or whatever it is. Okay, and I think I might as well make this patch first, no reason why not. So that's our first panel cut out for this big piece, and fitted in, and just held in on that side with a couple of the little Cleco duck build things, I don't know, edge clamps. And I'll start some welding. So I'm just going to clamp this this part up here in the centre. They're quite powerful little springs, they're really good. Got you. Right. That's intact. So now I can take the clecos out. Oops. God, I'm glad I got this too. This is so good. What I'm going to do, I'm going to plug weld obviously in those 3 holes. What I'm also going to do is weld this end up, and I'm actually going to just weld straight onto this flat surface. It doesn't really need a hole because it's not very thick, and it will actually weld through and burn its way through and penetrate to the other side anyway. So let's see how we go with that. Yeah, worked. Nice one. Okay, I'll just shape this back up, push this base panel back up to this centre panel, and then I'll weld that. Nice. Stamp pair of mold grips. Pull that together now. There we go. There we go, and that's the next one fitted up. I'll start to tack that in, and as I tack it in, I'll bend the arch to shape it. I need to shape the arch, so it looks like it doesn't quite fit just yet, but it will do. Right, on with the welding. So the welding's being done up to where we cut it out before. There's the inside done. It'll all look nicer when it's all ground off and everything. And again, yeah, this side's getting ground off, the welds. This side, leaving as it is, just prep it all and paint it all so it never ever rusts. In theory, possibly at some stage, maybe never, don't know. Right, okay, onwards. I suppose that bit's next. I have to be careful here though, because there's nothing connecting the bottom here, you know, to keep it all the right shape. So I might just weld a little band across the bottom or something just to keep that the right shape, so it doesn't all just twang apart. Right, okay, onwards.